started a new knitting project. So the new pattern that I'm working with is the rainbow sweater, and I did get this from Vintage Knitting Party, but it's a free pattern, I believe. There's actually a short sleeve and a long sleeve option. I went ahead and decided to go with the short sleeve option because I don't really have a lot of short sleeve sweaters. For that, I need 7 ounces of Lister's Lavender 3-ply. Do they make that yarn anymore? No, they do not. How much is 7 ounces? You need 3 ounces, which from what Google tells me is 85 grams for they call it the welts in the pattern, which I think is the rib. And then you need 1 ounce, which is 29 grams of each of 4 contrasting shades, a total of 5 shades. I did get some more of that 3-ply yarn that I used for my last 2 projects. I went with like a more pastel colorway. So I'm doing the rib with this kind of pastel lavender. I also have this blue, which is leftover from the last sweater, the Denise sweater I made. I've got this baby pink. I have this it's kind of like a green jade color. And then I have this cream, which is also left over from the Denise sweater. Anyway, so I got my yarn, and then it was time to figure out what needles to use, because they tell you to use number 12 needles for the rib, which is pretty common. Number 12 is 2.75 millimeters. But then they tell you to use number 8 needles for the rest. And that's 4 millimeter needles. That is quite big, and it's quite a jump from 275 to 4. So in my last knitting project, I ran into a lot of gauge issues because I didn't do any gauge swatching. I definitely learned my lesson, and this time I was very diligent with my gauge swatching. The pattern tells us that we need 6.5 stitches and 8.5 rows to 1 inch. I did my first swatch with the needles they told you to do. After blocking, I had 5 stitches and 8 rows, so 1.5 stitches off. Then I did another swatch with number 9 needles, which is 375. After blocking, 5.5 stitches in 8 rows, so still a no. I did another one, 3.5 millimeter needles. I got 6 stitches in 8 rows to the inch, still like half a stitch and half a row off. Finally, I did another swatch with 325 needles, which is number 10, and I got gauge before blocking and after blocking. So it turned out that number 8 needles was not going to happen for me. That meant I could cast on and start working. I am currently doing the rib. This is 1x1 rib. So yeah, once I finish the rib, we're going to start with the color work, and that will be our next update. If you're interested in seeing the process, make sure you follow along. But for now, thanks for watching and happy stitching.